This is the Logitech G512 Carbon Mechanical Keyboard. Of all the keyboards I've had in my personal workspace over the course of the past few years, this is one of my personal favorites for a lot of different reasons that I can't wait to get into. So by all means, let's get into the unboxing and review to see if this thing is worth the $100 price point. Let's take a look. Yo, what's up guys, Eldridge here. Welcome back to Peterman Valley, formerly known as TechRoar, which was also formerly known as Apple Insights. I know I'm doing too much. I'm doing the most, but I promise, I think this one is here to stay. I've been battling like which name I'm going to go with because I know that once you pick a name and once you go with what you want, and once you begin to grow and kind of settle in that, there's really no going back. So I went through a lot of deliberation of what I want the channel to look like and how I want to present my tech reviews to you guys. And I think this is kind of closer to where I want it to be. And I want to give a little bit of a shout out to my buddy Benjamin for helping me come up with this name. Obviously, Peterman Valley is a play on Silicon Valley, place in California, where a lot of people, geniuses I would even say, experts in the IT field come together and put ideas together and discuss the future of the industry. And that's kind of what I want my channel to be, a place where a lot of people can come together and just focus on and think about and reflect on where we're going as a technological industry. So yeah, today we're going to be looking at the Logitech G512 Carbon. This guy is a beauty, and I got this guy at Target. You can get him at Target. Obviously, if you look online and you look up this name, you can find a variety of retailers that could be holding this guy, and I think this is one of the better keyboards that I've ever had. I came from Razer. The Razer Ornata Chroma was like my main driver for a very long time. Before that, I had the Apple Smart Keyboard, but that was when I had my iMac. When I began to move into different workstation setups, I went with the Razer Ornata. And just out of complete sheer impulse, I went ahead and I got the G413 Carbon, which is this guy right here. It's an all red keyboard layout. I didn't even realize that you couldn't change the RGB. It's not RGB, it's literally just R, until I decided to upgrade it to the next level in the lineup because, you know, I want to have a keyboard that I can rely on for a very long time and fully satisfies my needs. And I felt that even though this was one of the good keyboards, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But obviously, I went ahead and decided to go up a level and go to the G512. So the unboxing experience actually for this is pretty simple. You know, you crack it open over on the sides, and once you do, you come across this black overall, it's kind of like a plastic black matte textured box that actually holds the keyboard itself. So it's kind of like an inner box within the over cover box. You open that up and lo and behold, you have the keyboard front and center, protected in this very nice shiny plastic protector, and it is kind of enclosed over on the other side with like some adhesive. And then the actual cable, the actual wire that connects in the USB connection cable is actually pretty long, and it actually wraps around itself. So they gave you a lot of slack for that, and it also comes in the box itself. But for the most part, that's the entirety of the unboxing experience, and it's pretty simple. Obviously, gotta do some plastic ASMR for the removal. You're very welcome. Once you take the keyboard out, it is a plug-and-play device. From what I understand, you plug it in and it automatically starts to install the drivers necessary to get it going. As soon as I plugged it in, it began to install the drivers needed and install the Logitech software, the dedicated software where you can kind of manage the different RGB lighting. And I loved it. I loved how simple it was. It's a simple unboxing and it's a simple setup. So let's just dive right into the main features of what this keyboard has to offer. Obviously, it comes at a heavy price point at $100. $100 for a keyboard. A lot of people may feel that is a lot, especially if you're just a daily user. You just want to kind of maybe upgrade your quality of your keyboard. Maybe you work at home and you don't really do any gaming, but you just want to see how good this one is. This is something to consider given the price. So let's go ahead and unpack the features of this keyboard. So one of the main features obviously is the first thing you see when you look at the box, and that is the fact that this keyboard has full RGB layout. It's fully customizable, reactive lighting. And you can also create your own custom animations, or you can select from presets that's already native within the Logitech software, and you're able to select from certain presets. Obviously, off is an option. You can also go to a fixed preset where it just remains solid on one particular color that you have the right to choose. One is a cycle, so it kind of just cycles through a variety of colors. Also, you have color wave, which is one of my personal favorites. It's basically just the entire RGB spectrum just kind of flowing from the left side of the keyboard to the right, and it's just non-stop. I like that a lot. It's one of my favorite. I actually have it on right now as I film this video. Breathing is another option. You can have it to where it kind of dims itself and brightens itself as if literally the keyboard is inhaling and exhaling, which I think is pretty cool. Ripple is another one. So this one only really reacts when you actually physically touch the keyboard. Whatever key you touch, it will basically create, as it says, a ripple as if you're touching water. Echo Press is the next preset, which is basically kind of the same with Ripple. It's reactive based on what you touch, except it's not sending out a ripple wave from the key, but it is individually changing the color of each particular key that you type, and it just slowly restores back to this original color. So I guess it kind of, Echo Press pretty much explains what it does. And also you have Screen Sampler, which is an interesting one. I think from what I understand, you can take a portion of your computer screen and you can take the coloring of that and you can create that as the framework of what the keyboard will look like. I believe that's what this means, but that's interesting. I mean, that's like next level stuff. So yeah, if you want full customization, this is basically the keyboard that you want to get. And lastly, they have Starlight. So it basically just kind of twinkles. There's different keys that twinkle, so it looks like there's little stars in the keyboard. Pretty cool presets. My personal favorite is Color Wave. I think I'm gonna use that one for quite some time, but the fact that they give you the freedom to choose and to customize really sets this one a little bit higher than the rest of them. In addition to the adjustability of the keys itself, this keyboard actually features USB pass-through, and it is a USB 2.0 port. It's not 3.0, would be nice, but it's a keyboard, so I guess I can't expect too much. Actually, no, I would actually like 3.0. So it actually supports, you can actually put USB drives in there, additional accessories or peripherals. If you have a mouse, I'm sure you could put the mouse, plug it into the keyboard without plugging it into the laptop itself. Or like if you have a wireless mouse, you can plug in that little USB receiver into the top of the keyboard, and I'm sure it would work the same way. Or you can actually literally transfer files using USB drives, if we still use USB drives nowadays, but hey, to each his own. Or instead of using it for storage, you can use it for power. You can literally charge your phone from the keyboard. You can charge other devices that have the USB connection from the keyboard. So that's kind of helpful. I would say it was helpful, especially if your computer doesn't have USB ports, or if you've already used all the USB ports on your computer, or you don't have a hub. Well, it kind of acts like an additional port for your keyboard. So for your keyboard and for your computer. One of the downsides I would say about this though is the fact that it does require 2 USB connections to your computer. So you can't just plug this keyboard in using 1 USB. So you basically need 2 free available USB ports to plug it into the computer, because one of them is for the actual USB port that is on the keyboard and the other one is for the keyboard. So you've got 2 that you have to plug in for one keyboard to work. For me, that's a little bit of a downside, but I mean, I understand why they did it this way, so that the connection can be solidified with the wiring, but you have to have 2 free available USB ports on your machine. And unless you have a hub, I have a hub, so thankfully I don't have to worry about it very much, but unless you have a hub where you can plug multiple USB ports in, it will take 2 spaces from your laptop. So I don't know if you're going to use for desktop or laptop, but make sure you got 2 available USB ports for this particular keyboard. And for the 413 Carbon as well. Next, for my favorite feature of this keyboard, literally the one that I believe sets it apart from the rest, is the actual mechanical structure of the keys itself. Obviously this is a mechanical keyboard, but there's different types of mechanics that can go into the keyboard that can alter the user experience when typing. Obviously, Logitech has three. There's the brown, which is more tactile. They have the red, which is more linear, and then they have the blue, which is more clicky. This is the blue. So this is extra clicky and extra responsive, and it's one of my most favorite. Like, I just want to type on it, even if I'm not even saying anything important. Like, I would just want to type on it just for that response. It's very satisfying to type on. Here's a sample of what that sounds like. Actually, here's an audio sample of the 413 versus the 512, and you can definitely hear the difference between the tactile keyboard and the clicky keyboard. Have a listen. So there you go. Now, this may be a pro or a con, depending on what you're looking for. Now, my second favorite feature of this keyboard, I gotta say, is the overall enclosure. The materials utilized to solidify the overall model and design of this keyboard. There is a top plating of aircraft-grade aluminum alloy material for the top plate. So you can feel the aluminum structure, you can feel the little rivets in the aluminum. It really gives it a very premium feel, and it overall improves the durability and the sturdiness of the keyboard while using it, which I think is an absolute plus. And actually, the same goes for the G413 Carbon. I mean, that also has that really nice feel, but except, you know, this one is just a step up. The whole thing feels premium when you take the full package of the RGB and the clickiness of the keyboard, and then also the durability, that aluminum structure. It just chef's kiss. Obviously, you do have the standard function keys. You know, you got the control, volume, play, pause, mute, toggle, game mode, change lighting effects, and etc. There's quite a bit of different options you have on the function. You can use the function key itself, or there's some, like I've noticed with the MacBook, the up and down volume button works as the brightness changing for Macs without using the function key. That's definitely not how that's supposed to work, but because it's a Mac device, it probably detected it incorrectly, but I like it anyway. And lastly, one of the features that Logitech likes to focus on for this one is that it does have what's called a game mode. Obviously, this is a gaming keyboard, even though I'm not going to be using it for gaming. I love it anyway, but there is a game mode that you can toggle using function and F8. And I will disable the Windows key on your keyboard, so if you're playing a game and you accidentally tap the Windows key, it won't send you to the Windows Start menu, or it won't pause your game, it won't stop the game, it'll disable that. And there's other additional customizations and features you can add with the game mode. You can customize what the game mode does for your keyboard, and all of that is native within the dedicated Logitech software that's automatically installed when you plug the keyboard in. So overall, I think this is a good keyboard to have long term. I think it's gonna last. You know, the Razer Ornata Chromo was great for me. I used it for a while, but it was actually massive, you know, and it had a lot working with it. But it was a nice keyboard, but it was nowhere near as satisfying and beautiful and premium feeling as this one. I'm fully satisfied with the Logitech G512 Carbon. The 413 Carbon, pretty cool. You can get it. It's a little bit cheaper, but I think for, you know, what, 20 bucks, maybe 20, 30 bucks more, you can get one that is more long lasting, and you can have more customizations with the RGB features on the keyboard. So that's my overview, unboxing, and review of the Logitech G512 Carbon. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, drop a like on it. The only downsides I would say for this keyboard that I think could have made it better, one would be, you know, having to plug in two USBs in for just one keyboard to work. Two, I would rather for the USB port to be USB 3.0 and not 2.0. And also a USB-C port wouldn't hurt either, or even an SD card slide on the back. I mean, you know, it has the space for it, why not? And also, just a little touch, if it's gonna be a full RGB keyboard, I would like for the actual Logitech logo to be RGB as well. But it isn't, but the caps lock keys and the game mode key is RGB, so I suppose it's not a big deal. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I did. I'm gonna love this keyboard, I'm gonna love using it, and I'm gonna love editing with it. And if you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, or anything about this keyboard that you want me to answer, put it in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.